Tonight, the Bills' loss yesterday caused a lot of us to have a worse than normal Monday, but it's prompted a really important and serious question as well surrounding a tweet that's gone viral here in Western New York. The Bills Mafia babes, who have a lot of followers, tweeting that they'd spoken with a domestic violence center, which said that it sees more cases after a tough loss, and reminding people that life is bigger than football. We thought this prompted an important discussion, and joining us live here in studio now is Cameron Burns, Community Education and Outreach Coordinator at Crisis Services. Thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So this tweet, got to be honest, kind of caught a lot of us off guard. Yeah. Although I guess if you just sit back and think about it, it shouldn't shock us to maybe think that something like this is possible. But, you know, is this something that you see or have had discussions about at Crisis Services, that when you have, you know, a loss to a football game, that it has this ripple effect?
You know, it was a tough loss yesterday. I was at the game as well. It was a tough game. People feeling a lot of different emotions there and at home, I'm sure. Luckily, at Crisis Services at least, we do not see an uptick in domestic violence as it relates to singular football games. We do know that nationwide, around the Super Bowl, there is a higher likelihood of domestic violence nationwide. Locally, we at Crisis Services haven't seen that. Now, what we do at Crisis Services is our advocate team responds to area hospitals 24/7, 365 to survivors of domestic and sexual violence. So over the weekend, yesterday through today, our numbers weren't any higher or lower than they usually are, typical for a weekend. We're happy to see that we haven't seen that uptick. But like I said, it does often happen around the Super Bowl nationally. We also have our 24-hour crisis hotline, the 834-3131 number you're seeing on your screen. There has not been an uptick in domestic violence calls to that hotline specifically, but nationwide there is that often around the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and as we were having discussions today, we wondered, when you combine the fact that, you know, people take, I guess, a football game loss in different ways, right? But you're also thinking about adding in alcohol and some other factors. Seems like that could maybe be sort of the bad combination of factors coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. Alcohol, while it doesn't cause domestic violence situations, it can exacerbate those kinds of stressful situations and make an already tough situation tougher. It's not the cause of domestic violence, but we know that it can exacerbate that, and that's kind of the thinking behind what happens during the Super Bowl and nationwide domestic violence reports.
Anytime we have discussions like this, just being honest about it, I mean, it kind of provides us an opportunity, right, to have discussions that so often we don't have about these things that maybe we wish we could ignore in our society, but they're out there and they're real. So for somebody who's watching right now who is in a tough situation, you mentioned some of the resources that are available. Again, we've got the hotline number up right there. But what else should people know about the help that's available in our community?
So we're really lucky in Erie County. We have actually a lot of domestic violence service providers. We've got, you know, our local hotlines. We've got our 834-3131 that we answer at Crisis Services. There's a New York State domestic violence hotline. There is a shelter Haven House run by Child and Family Services. And like I said, our advocate team responds to area hospitals 24/7, 365 for domestic violence and sexual assault, because we're also the Rape Crisis Center for Erie County. So there is a lot of help out there available for folks should they need it. And there's a lot of different ways to access it, including on our hotline. You can access through our website at crisisservices.org, text and chat features. If maybe picking up the phone and calling a phone number isn't safe, because maybe it's not safe to make that call, somebody in your home to hear that, you can use that feature as well to reach out to a trained crisis counselor 24/7.
Really great information. Cameron Burns is Community Education and Outreach Coordinator at Crisis Services. Again, the number right there is on your screen, 834-3131. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.